told my baby goodbye.
Sanford Clark, the Fool, the unmistakable influence of Lee Hazelwood.
Right, no joke about that.
He knew what he was doing. I was going to ask you who used to produce your records when you were making it. Most of the rock and roll ones that we all know, Party Doll, Hula Love, Rock Your Little Baby to Sleep, were on Roulette.
Yeah, the old ones I produced myself.
Even though it says recording supervision by Hugo and Luigi.
No, Hugo and Luigi, they weren't even in the studio, you know. I don't know why their names came out on that stuff. We didn't even meet them until we were with Roulette for about a year anyway. They didn't come to Roulette until a little later. No, we produced most of the stuff in Clovis, New Mexico. And Hugo and Luigi's name came out in the stuff that we'd produced down in Clovis, you know. And I didn't even know the guys then. No, I didn't care much for Hugo and Luigi, to tell you the truth. Which you probably detected right off the bat.
Well, we've spoken to other people. Yeah. Well, and now, you're now doing... well, you've got a single out here on Redwood Records.
Yeah, we tried this in Vancouver with some of the fellows I work with in Vancouver, and the song was really a good song. I haven't really heard it completed yet. They added a couple of things to it, so this will be the first time I've heard it myself.
Oh, well, that's the second time at least today. Third, I think, soon. Well, let's see what it... Give me the title, anyway.
It's called The Harmony in You and Me Is Gone.
Ooh, nice.
Well, that's the first time I've heard it all the way through.
It works, too. And it just makes me think of Chris Christopherson. I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing. But anyway, he's not doing so badly these days.
Not too bad. Not too bad at all.
All right, buddy. Well, thanks very much for coming in.
It's really my pleasure, Charlie. Thanks for having me on. Nice to see you again.
Yeah, well, it's good to see you. And after the show tonight, I think you're going to be around doing a few other things.
I think so, yeah.
Right, well, we'll give the people the details of that as they come up.
Okay, great. Are you going to be in tonight, maybe?
No, I saw it last night. So
good.
I really enjoyed it.
Enough's enough, huh?
And I'm going to play Rock Your Little Baby to Sleep, because that's a song you did last night.
Great. Thanks, Charlie, very much.
I just wanted to say your set last night, I think your rhythm guitar was a little bit too loud.
Yeah, it sure was. I didn't notice it until the thing was almost over with. That'll be corrected tonight.
All right, because the words of the songs, you got to hear them. And here's the one that you'll be playing. All right, thanks for coming in.
Well, when your baby is tired and she wants to sleep.
Stones, you got to let me be.
Well, first I want to say that bleep is put in on a record. I didn't put it in. I wouldn't dream of doing such a thing. Jack Scott, I can't tell you what a pleasure it is to have you here. We've been playing your records ever since I did the show, 5 years. And I even went to the States. I started a label about 3 years ago, and I wanted the first record to be by Jack Scott. And I went to the States, and I looked all over and just couldn't find where you were. All I heard was you were playing in a bar in Detroit. Could that have been true in 1972 or 3?
Suburb of Detroit, right. Let's see, I think that was a Crazy Horse Saloon. I was there for about 2.5 years.
And what are you doing at the moment?
Well, touring England. Just doing some, if you're speaking about back home, just doing the bar scenes and staying pretty local. I haven't done any traveling in a long time.
Well, I don't know how you managed to get away staying so out of sight, but I hope things are going to change. One of the troubles has been that the companies that put your records out in the late 50s, early 60s, Carlton and Top Rank, both folded, and nobody seems to know, where they are anymore. So there was a time when you just couldn't get hold of your records. Is that right?
I don't know where half the masters are. Some of them I have. Some we found. There's about 2 or 3 we don't know who has them. When Carlton dissolved, I don't know, he went bankrupt or something happened there. He either peddled them to somebody or somebody bought them from him or whatever, I don't know.
So now they're available on the Pony label?
Most of them are on Pony, right.
Which is something you
and
said
a few other labels around that they're putting them out.
Yeah, but Pony is official and it's yours, I believe.
Yes,
So if somebody buys a Pony record by Jack Scott, at least the money is getting back to you.
I like to think so,
I
yeah.
hope so. Right. And listening to your records, the early, the first ones, Leroy and My True Love, it was as if, I don't know, you were like a second generation rock and roll artist. I don't know if that makes sense. And in other words, you heard the hits and you thought of things that you could do with that sort of sound.
Well, when I started out, I started at a place called Bill's Barn. It was just a great big barn, holes in the side of the wall in the wintertime, and they stuck cardboard in there to keep the cold out. And I started doing country music, the old Carl Smith and Eddie Arnold, Roy Acuff type songs. And that was just about when Bill Haley, sort of, the rock was changing, Elvis was coming in. And I started doing all the Elvis rock type songs. And that's how I came up to do My True Love and Leroy. Baby She's Gone was the first, actually the very first release I had out.
Baby She's Gone was?
That was the very first. That was on ABC Paramount.
The one that's now on Pony here. And you did,
Right.
And you did it last night. Because when I heard that, it sounds like Endless Sleep, or rather Endless Sleep sounds like Baby She's Gone.
Right. It didn't, I thought it sounded a little different last night than I was used to. It didn't sound the way we rehearsed it, you know. It just came off a little, I don't know if it was all those speakers or what it was. It just didn't sound right. But I don't, did it sound right to you?
Well, I mean, I don't remember the particular song, although I was very surprised at the overall feel. The Way I Walk, for instance, I thought that was as good as a record, which, you know, to me is the height. I couldn't say anything, I couldn't say anything better about it than it sounded as good as a record. Because I really liked the record in the first place.
But Baby She's Gone was the very first. And after that, we had Two Time and Woman. Then I had Leroy.
Oh, I see.
And then they flipped it to My True Love.
But there's something very careful about the records. It feels as if you know exactly what is in them.
All of them I produced myself. And I used the old upright bass back then on everything with a double slap, you know.
Even though the electric bass was by now quite a common instrument, is that right?
Well, it was, but we just used the upright bass on everything. I preferred it, and that's just the sound I had, and I liked the best. So there was a couple of tunes I used regular bass on, but I seemed to get away from the feel, the Jack Scott feel that I had. So if you know anybody who plays a good upright bass, send them over.
Well, Asleep at the Wheel is a guy who's pretty good. You know the band Asleep at the Wheel?
Yes, I do, right. He is good, yeah.
Okay, well, let's play a record and we'll come back, because I want to ask you about the saxophone player who plays on this, What Am I Living For?
What am I living for? If not for you? Oh, nobody else will do.
What am I living for?
I ask myself that a lot.
But you haven't yet recorded I Think I'm Gonna Kill Myself. At least you didn't get that far. And who was the saxophone player on that?
That was George Kazakis.
And did he play on most of the records that had saxophone on?
Yes, George was playing sax about, would you believe, about 7 months when he started playing, cutting the things with me. Played just a single note. I thought he was real interesting. I liked the sound he had.
And the girls, were the Shantones, who were they?
That wasn't girls.
Oh,
that was,
blokes.
Guys.
Guys.
4 guys, right.
Who were they?
It was Les, Jim, Jack, and...
I mean, did they do anything else besides singing?
no,
on the
they
record?
just did vocal, that's all.
And they came on tour with you?
They never did tour with me, no.
So were you doing on the same sort of tour as the Buddy was talking about, or?
I was on a couple of Irvin Fell tours. I don't think Buddy and I was on the same tour. I mentioned to him that I thought we did a show together, and I just can't remember where the heck it was.
But you were doing that kind of thing.
That kind of thing,
Where
right.
You just did your 2 current hits, 3
2
hits.
big buses, like he said, and just doing the tours. We went through Canada, and then we came into the States and toured. That was the thing, the same type of thing.
Right. And I think you must know a lot of your records were very big here, including What in the World's Come Over You. And I think I always thought of them at the time as country records. I don't know what made me think that, because looking in the country charts, you never were in the country charts. Is that
No, it's, you know, if I do interviews with country disc jockeys, they seem to think it's sort of a pop rock sound. If I go to the pop rock, they think it's a country song. So I don't know. I don't know what it is.
But what happened? I mean, there was, you know, it was really, really big, and then it seemed to tail off. What was it, the Beatles? Did they cause the downfall of U2?
Well, when the Motown sound came in, everything seemed to change, you know, and it looked like everybody was going over to a different type of music, and it was something I couldn't relate to. I couldn't get into, and I just found myself, you know, laying dormant there for a while, not doing anything. They asked me to do some recording and some songs along that style, and I just didn't feel them, so I just thought I would just lay back for a while. Now I understand it's coming back. It's not as big over in the States as it is here, but it's coming back.
Well, I mean, what knocked me out yesterday was what you did just sounded like very modern music. There wasn't anything, you know, old-fashioned about it to me. But my tastes are not exactly in the mainstream of pop, so I don't know. Anyway, there was one other guy that I hear who makes records as carefully as you. I would say would have been Lee Hazelwood. I don't know if you felt that he was as perfectionist as you would be. For some people that's an insult, perfectionist, but for me it's something I admire. Somebody's pursuing what they're doing.
What I enjoyed was, I don't know so much about Lee, but I know the things that Duane Eddy did. When I was doing a interview at a station in Philadelphia, and they had brought Duane Eddy's Rebel Rouser. They had it there, just a tape on it. I went in the studio and they played it for myself and a couple of guys. We were all together, and I thought it was a smash. And I looked forward to meeting Duane, and the thing was an instant hit, and we got on tour together and did a lot of talking together. And I think it's just fantastic. Duane is one of my great guys. I really dig him, you know.
Duane Eddy, Rebel Rouser. Duane was in the English charts. He came back and did something which was basically the same idea. It was a hit about a year ago.
I haven't seen Duane in, geez, it's been years. Last I heard he was living in Arizona somewhere.
Well, I don't know, but anyway, to me this thing can come back again. I hope it does. And it's nearly 1:30. The show ends, but tonight Jack and Buddy and Charlie and Warren are going to be on again at the Rainbow, and it starts at 6:30. So whatever time you've seen advertised, 6:30 is when you should be there. Crazy Cavern open it up, and don't miss them. They're very good. So it's a really nice way to start, and the whole thing's there's no comparison with anything you've ever seen before. It's nothing like this. So I just should mention that if you look around, you'll find the latest issue of the new magazine Commotion. Sorry, the latest issue of New Commotion. I can't go into the details. We're near at the end, and I want to play as much as I can fit in of Bo's Going to Jail. Could you just tell me, Jack, when this was made?
I recorded that about, I'd say about 1.5 years, 2 years ago.
Piano on it's really good.
Yeah, and it was another story like Leroy. It was about a guy that hung around a drive-in and wound up going to jail. All my friends seem to wind up in jail. I don't know why.
All right, well, this is Charlie Gillett, and as you can see, I'm very grateful to all our guests for getting up and coming in here on Sunday. Thanks to Andy Martin and Meg Cooper for the phones, Charlie McIsaac and Jan Wayne for their help. I'll see you all next week, and be sure to pick up these people somewhere. Buddy and Charlie are doing the 100 Club on Tuesday, and I think Jack's going to be doing the Greyhound in Fulham and 1 or 2 other things too. We'll tell you more details as they come up. Bo's Going to Jail, 2 minutes of this. See you next week.